wanted to make this quick video about the dollar. Everyone wants to know whether the dollar is going to go zero. Is the dollar going to be completely worthless? Are we going to zero? Is the economy going to collapse overnight? What I want to show you guys is that none of that is going to happen. The dollar will lose a huge portion of its value, but it won't lead to utter chaos as being described in a lot of people's TikToks, YouTube videos, and social media posts, where they're basically just fear mongering, telling you that the dollar is going to zero. Not going to happen. People are still going to use the dollar, still going to be around, but it looks like the government is looking for an alternative form of the dollar where we could move to that digital currency, right? So that's going to be in the future, but that is looking like a very, very soon future, the way everything is moving, with our allies kind of turning around backs on us, but more so we'll get into the charts rather than talking about the politics of the move. So let's check out the US dollar. The US dollar looks nice right here at this level. Looks like we have a double bottom forming on the charts. So let's go ahead and just annotate here, add some lines, draw some perspective. So what we have here, and if you're not familiar with what a double bottom is, the double bottom is basically where you have a retest of support right here, right? And you have another retest of support at this level. And basically what happens after you have that retest of support, you see a shoot off higher or a bullish move higher in the stock, equity, currency, whatever you're looking at, right? So it looks like we have a double bottom in the dollar temporarily. Now, with that being said, this could be a relief rally just because there is so much selling going on the dollar ever since the beginning of March, or mid-March, really. And that's when a lot of these moves against the dollar started to happen, especially with the BRICS nations. What we also want to pay attention to, we had a bearish crossover right here warning us that the dollar is getting ready to move lower, and we also have a potential golden cross letting us know the dollar is getting, more so getting ready to move higher. Now, currently right now, we're in a uptrend move where we're just beginning to fill out this double bottom phase where we could test a level of 103, which is at this 50-day moving average where we could stall out at, and we could see a substantial move back down lower for downside. So nothing positive going on for the dollar in the international news or in the international politics at the moment, since a lot of people are dropping it, a lot of people are doing away with it, and we have France coming out and saying that they won't be so dependent on the dollar, right? So you start to see allies kind of moving away from our dollar. So with that being said, we are just seeing the charts kind of just play out here at the moment. We haven't seen the actual effects of how this is actually going to look. Once we start to see a snowball effect of other countries start to remove themselves from the dollar. So with that being said, you can actually take advantage of the move before it happens. This is exactly what we do here at Williams Investment Academy. We take advantages of the moves before it happens, right? You don't buy calls whenever the stock is up. You buy calls when the stock is negative, and you buy puts when the stock is positive. That's how you maximize your gains. A lot of people won't tell you that because they are followers of the trends, and a lot of times the people that taught them how to trade stocks were typically followers of another person, right? And it just more so just keeps building on itself. Followers of followers of followers of followers, right? All right, cool. So with that being said, let's check out a 5-year time frame for the dollar to add perspective on whether I'm wrong and we could see the dollar continue to go higher and we could see the dollar actually gain strength, or whether I'm correct and we could see the dollar actually go lower, right? So we want to make sure that we're using the charts, right? Using our eyes to figure out where the dollar's next move is going to be. All right. So the first thing we're going to check out here, the first thing I see is a bearish move to the downside, right? So we're not talking about this huge move here. I am talking about the head and shoulders. If you haven't seen it already, there's a head and shoulders in this dollar chart. Let me show you right here. We have a shoulder right here, head, and we have that shoulder right here. Now, if we want to make this a little bit prettier, let's go ahead and take this out. And that way you won't say I'm forcing the shoulder here. We can take a shoulder from this level here, or we can take a shoulder from this level here, right? So what we're seeing is that the dollar is continuing to struggle to go higher, right? Although it's not a currency, it's not typically supposed to continue higher, but more so the way the charts are showing us is that the dollar is struggling to go higher, right? We have this step right here, and let's go ahead to this step where we just slid down and continue to go lower. So on coming up, right, this was a resistance. That's why the line is there. We failed, right, broke out, resistance, added another line so that way you know where the resistance is at. Failed, broke out, added resistance, right, resistance line here. We failed and we broke down on all three of these resistance lines that it set, and we broke down to the downside extremely fast, right? Fast red days, rather because remember, at the end of the day, stocks, equities, whatever it is, it takes a while for it to actually climb higher to make new highs, rather than make new lows, right? Making new lows could take a second or it could take a couple days, right? So remember, just keep that in mind. It takes a while for things to actually move higher, and for things to move lower, it can happen in a second. Just keep that in mind, or a point of reference, right? Okay, cool. So with that being said, we have a bottom right here, right? We just spoke about the bottom. We just failed this level, right? Just like we failed all these levels before. And right now it looks like we're trying to stage a comeback and try this level one more time and actually make a breakout. Now, with this being said, I suggest you check my chart course to understand where the next move in the dollar is going to be, right? Our projections, just to give you a hint, our projections that we're actually going to see the dollar break to the downside at 97, which could alarm the market, and it could alarm a lot of economists, and it's going to look really bad on the international stage, is that the dollar is going to keep losing its value each month. Okay? So just let that sink in. The dollar's going to keep losing its value each month, but it's not going to go to zero. We will see a rebounding dollar at some point, but it won't go to zero. Like I said, it's going to lose a chunk of its value, but it won't go to zero. So let's just keep that in mind. All right. So all right. So everything is perfectly good with this part. And if, like I said, if you want to know where the end move is at in the dollar, we can definitely just go ahead and register for that charting course. So we have a head and shoulders with the dollar. So a lot of companies, a lot of banks, hedge funds, they're looking to invest in cryptocurrency. They're looking to invest in gold because they know that gold and cryptocurrency are going to go to all-time highs at some point in a near distant future, right? So it really won't be that far along because it doesn't take much for this dollar to actually break down. It could happen over the course of the next 6 months, where you could see the dollar actually reverse and go lower, right? So with that being said, let's go to a 2-year time frame of gold. As you see, gold, the all-time high was around 2075. Although I do believe it's around 2100. If we actually take a look at the 5-year, we could go back further, but that's more so a subscriber kind of advantage here. So let's see. With this move, we can put the chart right here. This is where it topped out at, right around 2093. So what we're starting to see here, we see a fail in the gold chart, a failure right here, and this move is getting started where we should see a substantial break to the upside, where we could see gold test the level of 2100 very, very soon. Okay, guys? So with that being said, you guys want to stay long gold because the dollar is going to continue to go lower. You also want to stay long Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, the Bitcoin and Ethereum, I am teaching my subscribers on which one is going to be valuable, which one is going to be the one you want to own for the better return. If you definitely want to learn that, definitely hit that subscribe button. Definitely message me so you can go ahead and get set up in the group chat, get set up in the course, so that way you'll be able to take advantages of these moves within these currencies and also within the equity market as well. So remember, today is April the 11th, 2023. I am saying here, we're going to see gold hit a level of 2100 and go higher. We're going to see the dollar hit a level of 93 and continue to go lower. So take care, study the charts, and register.